So like, what exactly is intellectual property? Because I think there's a lot of confusion among founders about.
And what's the difference between that and copyright?
Beautiful. Think of intellectual property as a great big pie. And unfortunately, it's not like a delineated slice as patents. We got four types, basically. Patents, trademarks, trade secrets, copyrights. Those are the four, shall we call, children of intellectual property in the U.S. There's some variations on those themes, but you have to view them more like a Venn diagram because a portion of a patent might have a trademark responding to it. There might be copyright involved with the trademark. Trade secrets might overlap into all four areas. So you've got to view them as, hey, they're each their own critter, but sometimes they overlap. Like a big thing that gets a lot of people, and y'all talked about horror stories, are your logos. Like right now, y'all got Hello Chaos. We've got the stylized ancient microphone from the good old days of the era of radio.
That's right.
It is. And I mean, that it sells what it is. Hello Chaos. You're getting this vibe. You guys are giving off a good feed. But what will happen is you had a third party come up with that for you, unless you, Jenno, or you, Jennifer, did this yourselves. And so herein lies the rub. A lot of these small businesses and entrepreneurs do that. They don't realize that, hey, there's a copyright involved in your trademark. And both y'all right now are like, what's this guy on?
So essentially the creators may own it.
Absolutely. And what we need to do, and again, if we need to do this for Hello Chaos, let me know. But what we know is in dead serious, this is one of sort of the tricks of the trade I use in all my presentations to say, who's got a logo? And you'll see hands go up. And it's like, who designed it themselves? And you'll see very few hands are up.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well,
Jennifer.
I was like, when you say design it yourself, like the sister company, what we found was the marketing and advertising firm.
Yep.
That's who created our marks and, the name. So me, Jennifer, did not personally get in there and design it, but it was a team that was, I would say, essentially owned by Brightco.
But that's interesting because if you ever split off, then it becomes an issue. So does it Hello Chaos, does OrangeWip own it or does Brightco own it?
Oh, Jenno's asking all the great questions.
Yeah.
And no, it's a beautiful thing to ask because it's right. If you had an independent company own it, guess what? That company still owns it, even though their employees didn't. That's called a concept known as work made for hire.
Yeah.
Employees creating items during the course of their employment flow to the employer. That's just it.
Right.
There are limitations on it. If the janitor came up with the logo, we got issues. We did not hire the janitor to be a brand creator. And so, a lot of people just think, well, if I pay him, it's mine. No. It's the same thing for paying somebody for the logo itself. There has to be an actual assignment. For the work made for hire, that flows up. The employee's doing it for the parent company owns it.
And our parent company is Curiosity. And that's who all the employees kind of run through, both on Brightco and OrangeWip.
Yep.
So are we secure in that?
Jenno asked the right question, though, because what if you guys decide to sell Hello Chaos?
Yeah.
You want your IP located within Hello Chaos.
Okay.
Any of its own IP. Now, granted, not other IP. The Hello Chaos IP needs to be with the LLC or S Corp or C Corp, whatever y'all are. But we don't want that sort of dangling chat hanging off somewhere else because you'll have another nasty attorney in the future when you guys decide to sell, come in and we'll do due diligence. Part of the due diligence is going to be tell me about your IP. And we're like, oh, this very beautiful logo. Here we go. And they'll pull up the registration and be like, okay, it was filed. It belongs to this company. But we're buying Hello Chaos LLC or whatever the name may be.
Right.
So we want to make certain that the marks are owned by that entity. Now, sometimes you have a third entity own the IP. That depends on sort of how you're setting it up. How do I see long term? What's my succession plan? But typically, though, belt and suspender way is to have the LLC that is that entity own its own IP.
Right.
Okay.
But we need to make certain that we get the copyright assigned unless it's a work made for hire. But even then, if entity one owns it and entity two is the entity using it, we need to have it assigned to entity two.
Okay.
So there are definitely all kinds of loops, but y'all are asking beautiful questions because we'll be in a presentation and I'll tell folks, hey, who did this? And they'll be like, oh, it was my sister, or oh, it was my friend from school.
Yeah.
Or, I don't remember their
Or
name.
I went to Fiverr.
Exactly. Now, and be careful. Some of those online things are okay. Read the fine print. I know people hate hearing that, but read the fine print. Don't click I agree and move on.
To listen to the podcast, go to hellochaospodcast.com or wherever you like to listen or watch your favorite podcast.